Today I'm going to show you how to make a panoramic like this one inside of LightRoom. Let's get started. So here I'm inside LightRoom and I have a lot of panoramic pictures up here, and you'll notice that in between them I have my hand I put in there, and I get 3 shots of my hand because I'm bracketing all of my panoramics. And sometimes I shoot them vertical to get a wider panoramic. Sometimes I shoot them horizontal to get a longer, thinner panoramic. So in this case today, what we're going to do is we're going to do this shorter panoramic right here. And let me just unhighlight all those. So I have my 3 hands here, and I shoot 3 because I always bracket, and I'm going to make an HDR panoramic out of these. But it also allows me to make just a regular panoramic by selecting the same exposure. So because I've shot in aperture priority, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the fastest shutter speeds of the 3 of each of these, and I color coded them so you can see them a little bit easier on the screen, such as here and here. And so these are the 4 that I'm going to use. Now once you have these 4 selected, making a panoramic is relatively easy in LightRoom. All we got to do is just right click on any of the highlighted ones, go down here to photo merge and click on panoramic, and now we're going to get our panoramic screen. And Panorama Screen is what it's actually called. So here it comes, and right here I have it on spherical, and what that is it aligns and transfers the image as if they were mapped inside a sphere. So this projection mode is great for multi-row or very wide panoramics and multi-row. So if you shot a panoramic in one row, move the camera up and then shot another row, this would be the one that you'd want to assemble those in. Now the cylindrical, that one is as if it's projected on a panoramic, is mapped on the inside of a cylinder like this. So it works really well for very wide panoramics, and it also will keep all of your vertical lines straight. So in this case I do have some telephone poles here, these vertical lines, which obviously I'd want to keep straight. Now the last one that we have is what's called perspective, and you'll see that on this one it doesn't work so well. But perspective basically puts it on as if it was a flat surface, and it keeps the straight lines straight, both vertical and horizontal. So it's great for architectural panoramics, but not so much for this one. Now most of the time when I'm going through this, I would just click on the separate ones and see which one that I like the best. And in this case I think I am going to like the cylindrical right here. Now you'll see that it assembles the panoramic, and you see that we have some jagged lines up and down here as it aligns all these pictures together. And so what we can do is we can do an auto crop here, and when you click on auto crop, it's automatically going to crop into the picture and get rid of all of those extraneous lines there, the extra background. The boundary warp does the same thing. You see it in action here as I drag it across here, and you see that does just about the same thing as the auto crop. As a matter of fact, if you look at that and I bring this back and I click on auto crop, you see it's almost identical. So either one you can use. Now create a stack, what that's going to do is that's going to take those 4 images and stack them up together along with this one. That way you have your panoramic and you have the 4 images that are created behind it. I don't want to do that. I just want to get my panoramic done. So all I go to do now is just go down here to merge, and I'm going to click the merge button, and I'm going to wait for it, and you see that up here at the top how it's creating the panoramic right here at the top of LightRoom, top left. And this is most likely going to show up at the very bottom of my group of panoramics. Now I have them, you see that I have them all labeled as panoramics. I have a lot of them here so that once I shoot a panoramic of a scene, I can always come back and check it out. So when we go down here, this is the one that I made today, and this is my panoramic here. Now once you have the panoramic all assembled done, you can treat it like any other picture in LightRoom. And so in this case we can go to the develop module, and we can go ahead and beef this up a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do on almost all of my landscapes now, and I'm so glad that in the last update of LightRoom CC that Adobe finally put dehaze up here at the top instead of us having to scroll all the way down to find it. But I'm going to take the dehaze, I'm going to slide that a little bit, and it's going to darken it up, which I don't mind because this is sort of a dark image anyway. It's sort of, you know, overcast, and the sun is going down, so you know, it's relatively dark to begin with. I'm going to bump up the clarity a little bit, and then here I'm going to raise the highlights a tiny bit to add a little bit more contrast to it. I might bring the exposure just up just a touch, not too much. I do like the way that's looking, and we can see the lights down here down here in the bottom. That's what they're supposed to be, those lights. Now the blue that you see here, that is because I have this particular part clicked on, and once you click it off, you see that it disappears. That just tells me that I'm having some pixels that are dropping off that are becoming completely black, which is okay because again, it is a night scene. Now the other thing I like about this picture is I like the fact that we have some saturation going on back here, some red in the sky back there, and I want to bring that out a little bit. So I'm going to go to my hue, saturation, and luminance, and I'm going to bring up the saturation on the red and maybe the orange too, and just pop that up just a little bit if I can here. And let's just see. Yeah, so I like what that's doing. We'll get the luminance and we'll brighten them up a little bit too, and you can see if that brings it up a little bit. I might go the opposite way, darken it, because it seems like it darkens it a little bit more. That might be too much. I like that right there. All right, so I don't have to do too much to this picture. I like the way that this picture looks to begin with. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get into my details here, and I'll click on an area of the clouds here where I can see a nice separation right there, and I can see my noise. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce down my noise. I'm going to take the luminance down, and I'm going to sort of level that, or just smooth that all out, get rid of those little pixels there. Bring up my radius, and I can hold down my Alt key to see it in black and white. And although on this it doesn't do much to help you out, but on sharpening it definitely is going to help. So back to my noise reduction. I got my noise down here, and I got the details, and I think that looks pretty good. I'm okay with the way that looks right now. So what I want to do is I want to bring this over here to some place that's kind of sharp, and I'm going to do my sharpening. Now I'm going to hold down my Alt or Option key, depending on what computer you're working on, and I'm going to drag my amount over, and you see that it turns black and white, and you can really see the sharpness start to pop in. Now I'm going to bring this up a little bit here, right about there. I have a Bed Bath & Beyond sign right there that pops out pretty good. So I'm focusing on that, and again, holding down my Alt key, I'm going to go to my radius and just make sure that I see some of the areas in here, and same with the detail that it shows up, and they both show up pretty good. So I know that's looking good. Now finally, my masking, when I hold down my Alt and Option and we start dragging the masking across, what happens is that everything that is black is not going to get any sharpening, which is what I want. I want the sky not to have sharpening, because that's going to bring back noise. But I want the edges to be sharp of everything. So I adjust this down till I see the outline of all the areas that I think should be sharp in this image, and I let that go. And I'll zoom in here and take a look around here, and I really like the way that image looks right now. So as you can see, creating a panoramic in Lightroom is relatively fast, quick, and easy. You got all the adjustments that you need in this program, but if you want to do a little bit more advanced, you can set it on over to Photoshop, and I will cover that in the next video. Until now, enjoy and have fun creating your panoramics in Lightroom. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that little bell next to it. That way you get notifications every time I make a new video.